his partner in Wham.
Oh.
Andrew Ridgely was his name. 9 minutes past 10, 24 degrees downtown. That's what the weatherman is predicting for our high today. So now it's our turn to take over and say, mine, 28 degrees. Barbara's this morning in the breakfast show predicted 27. So we'll see how it goes. Coming into a brand spanking new weekend. It is Friday, January the 22nd. Let me do this. That's right, you're right here at Galaxy 107 FM, and for those of you that are joining us on Facebook Live right now, welcome along. I am absolutely elated to be catching up with a good old friend of ours, about 5-6 years now that we've known each other, Rod Black. Way back in the day, he used to be with a band called Jet Black Steer. Right now, let's do this. I tell you what, let's let him introduce his own song.
Hey, it's Rod Black. You're listening to Galaxy 107. Appreciate the support. New song for you. Go big or go home.
Rod, we are still getting a kick-ass amount of people requesting this.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, that song is now, how old is that song? That's 3 years old.
Something,
no, that was one of the first songs I sent you guys.
Exactly. It must be about five and a half years old. And
well, you know what? No, it's got to be, it's going on 4 years.
Yeah, it's got to be at least that, believe me. But we get so many requests for it, and well, Rod, we get so many requests for Rod Black.
Oh, thank you again, you guys. Really appreciate that.
Goes without saying. You're an icon here.
Well, I don't know about that. I just really appreciate you guys taking the time.
Oh, believe me, you're up in the royalty stages right now. You really are.
I won't complain. I'm just really thankful.
Rod, I got to thank you for coming on back. It's a real pleasure to catch up with you again.
My pleasure.
And loving the outfit too, by the way.
Thank you. How many wardrobe changes did I have to do now? I just want to be comfortable.
The girls say that you clocked up 3 so far since we've been talking.
Oh boy, 3? Well, like I said, I grew up with all girls, right? So,
yeah.
For me to do a couple wardrobe changes, we'll let that slide.
Yeah, well, you're making me feel tardy. Maybe I should try and catch up to you or something. Let's go to the desk, bro.
Be thankful.
That's right, you're right here at Galaxy 107 FM. I've got to let you know, Rod, that they were dancing in the other studio, in the window to that. Absolutely a big fan here at Galaxy, and that goes for all the staff. We really love your music. We really do. Welcome back to Galaxy.
Thank you very much. Just give me 1 second. I apologize, guys. I don't know why my battery just dropped to like the red, and I don't know how that happened. So let me plug this in really quick, okay?
You go right ahead.
I apologize. It's not. I'm just looking right now. It just happened right now.
No worries, no worries. Well, let me fill you in about Rod Black, not only a very, very good friend to Galaxy 107 FM, in fact, iconic, but Rod's gypsy soul raised on country and rock and roll. Yeah, rock and roll passion mixed with the heart of a country gold. Rod grew up on vintage country classics, from southern rock pioneers to original country outlaws. You can hear it. You absolutely can hear that. Now, Rod Black has teamed up with producer-writer Jeff Johnson, who is a 2017 CCMA award winner, Producer of the Year, and a 5-time BC Country Music Association award winning producer. And Rod, I'm going to talk to you about Jeff very, very shortly, but we kicked it off. Go back, go home. Let's remind our audio audience a little bit about it. How did you come to the lyrics of that?
Well, that was actually an interesting story. Okay, so a good friend of mine, just give me 1 second here. We got this going here. All right. Whew, okay, there we go. Sorry, I just go. A very good friend of mine brought me this good, kind of a cool guitar riff. And I heard it, and I was just like, wow, I've got some ideas. And he's like, well, what would you do to this? And I said, well, I've got this idea of kind of also like, I love Aerosmith. I grew up with all kinds of music, right? You know, obviously country music, but also got into Aerosmith as I got older and stuff. And so I pictured a bit of a kind of a Steven Tyler course, you know what I mean? Just a little bit over the top, a little edgy, not too much. And I was kind of just ripping this vocal idea for the chorus. He's like, hey, I really dig that. And I said, okay, well, let's give it kind of that swampy type feel. And then sort, you know, so then I wrote down a bunch of lyrics. He had this guitar riff. And of course, we brought it to Mr. Jeff Johnson. And then Jeff just put it over the top with his production and his writing skills, jumping in, you know, here and there. And that's how that song kind of just was naturally just created. But it started off with the guitar riff.
I get it. I really, really do. And I'm sure Steven Tyler's going to be very fascinated. Have you told him about that?
No, I've got a good friend a really good friend of mine, who's one of his really close friends, and he'd actually told him that I was kind of I don't like the word fan. I think we've talked about that.
Yeah.
I'm just an admirer of their music, right? I think that we're all on the same playing field. I think the word fan is kind of overrated sometimes, but just that I was really, you know, inspired by his music growing up and stuff. So just him telling that story, and Steven said, you just tell Rod, keep on going. And that kind of made me feel pretty good.
That is very, very cool. Now, I know that you're in the middle of packing and going off to another region in Canada right now, and I wish you all the luck with that. I really, really do. I'm certainly hoping that you're going to stay safe and healthy, and same with all of your family, including your sister that we're going to be doing an interview with in the very near future. Looking forward to meeting up with you.
Oh, yeah.
I really am.
Inspiration.
You know something? Believe me, if it's endorsed by Rod Black, you know we're going to do it. You know that. Absolutely.
You'll stop playing me and you'll be playing her more. I'll tell you that right now.
Well, I can't see that happening in the near future, but, you know, anything's possible. It is. Now, Jeff Johnson, tell me a little bit about Jeff. How did you meet up with Jeff Johnson?
Well, this is, a lot of people don't know this story, and so I guess it's good timing for this. Oh, sorry, this is sliding here. What's happened is basically Jeff and I have kind of reunited again. But I've known Jeff since 1998. We've known each other for a very, very long time. Of course, anybody that looks up Jeff Johnson, Rod Black, that kind of combination, we have the Jet Black Stare stuff, right? So we got into that whole writing the album for Jet Black Stare, getting an album deal, and all that kind of fun stuff. And we took some time away from each other because he was producing, and of course I was out doing my thing. And then when it came to the country stuff, I just said, hey, I got this idea for the song, you know, Keep It On, and it just kind of happened, and all of a sudden, boom, Jeff and I are back writing like crazy again, like we always do, and now we've just continued on. So
now, is this the Jeff Johnson from the Jeff Johnson set?
From the Jeff Johnson what?
Set. There was a band, well, a number of years ago, that used to be called the Jeff Johnson Set. I was just wondering if that was the Jeff Johnson.
No, Jeff's a very talented individual, and I won't talk too much about him because he doesn't like me doing that. But really, no, he is a lot of people don't realize that he's a heck of an entertainer. But he used to have the Jeff Johnson band, and then he'd had a band called 10 Ways from Sunday. we were both managed by the same manager, and then that manager, Adam Mask, told us we should get together and work together, and that's kind of how that all happened. But yeah, no, Jeff is very talented, but I don't think that is the same project.
Right, okay, fully with you there. Now, at the same time, how's Brian Perry? I haven't heard anything on Brian for a little while now. Have you spoken to Brian?
I haven't talked to Brian for a while. You know, sometimes in this industry, you know, you kind of just you kind of part ways a bit for different directions and stuff like that. He has other things he's doing, and of course I've got different things. And you know, great guy. I have nothing bad to say. Just, you know, sometimes you just kind of move on.
Exactly. And I tell you what, next time you run into Brian, give him a poke in the eye for me, won't you?
I will. I won't be in Nashville for a bit, but yes, I definitely will.
Nice, believe me. And we love Brian Perry too, from the Perry Music Group. We really do. Now, having said that, my friend, we're here for well, I got to let you know, first of all, loving the backdrop. I really am. But right now, I think it's time for a plug. Why don't we give the people that are supplying you with your cowboy hats a bit of a plug?
Thank you. They're amazing. Stampede and Tack. So what happened was, obviously with the COVID restrictions and everything, I wanted to be respectful, and I called them down there and I said, listen, I'm going to come down. I'm looking to get a new hat. Obviously, Grant, I've got my other one for you, so we'll have to figure out how to get that out to you. But went in there and they hooked me up big time. And the funny thing is, this pretty much identical hat. I think it was a beige. Well, my dad had brown ones and beige ones, and of course black ones. But it's pretty much the same kind of hat. And when I saw it, I'm like, I've got to wear that. And it's pretty much the same kind of hat my dad was wearing growing up. And so they hooked me up, and I'm very thankful for that.
But
so Stampede and Tack, everybody.
There you go. And folks, go out and get yourself a well-constructed hat. Believe me, that one is absolutely fantastic. And I got to admit, Rod, it absolutely suits you.
Oh, well, thank you. My mom, when she saw it, she goes, oh my God, you remind me of your dad. And so it was kind of, I'm like, okay, well, I'm wearing the right hat.
Yeah, okay, well, I'm pleased it's a good thing. Sometimes, well, you know, I gotta let you know, once I brought a lady home to meet my parents when I was younger, and my mum loved her. Dad absolutely hated her, and I said to Dad, well, what's the problem? You know, why do you dislike her? And he goes, well, she's exactly like your mother.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're saying.
Yeah, so, well, you know, that one didn't quite work out too well. But we are here for a very auspicious occasion. We really are, because I'm so happy to be able to do this, barely getting by. Now, this is a brand spanking new song by Rod Black, and we want to know all about it. Please, Rod, tell us everything.
Okay, this is a crazy story. Okay, so Jeff and I, actually, I gotta rewind a bit. So Jeff and I were in the studio working on some stuff, and he said, hey, the boys from Hillside Outlaws, you know, an amazing group, very good friends of mine. I call them family.
Yep.
So Jeff had mentioned to me, he said, the boys want to write with us. And I'm like, okay, cool, what are we going to do? So he goes, well, they're in the area. And I'm like, bring them over here. So they got in the room, and the four of us, it just hit. I think it was, I do believe it was Jeff, who came up with that, hey, I got this idea, barely getting by the title. I'm like, okay, cool. And then I'm like, okay, well, how about bills piling up, barely making rent, or something like that. You know how it all starts. And then we got one, and then Langley hits this, and then Lewis said this. And we're back and forth, and all of a sudden, 15, 20 minutes later, we're like, guys, I think we got ourselves a song here. Now, the ironic thing is that this song is on the road to do the walk on to the radio tour. We don't know what's happening because we're literally getting to a hotel, going to sleep for a couple hours, get to the station, and you know how that is with radio tours. So we're getting calls, and everybody's like, you guys, you know what's going on with COVID? And we're like, what are you talking about? Like, everybody's telling us this COVID thing, but no one knew really what was going on. And so we were like, okay, we got to get back home. So we didn't get to go to the Junos, obviously, so we raced back home. But we were sitting on the song, Barely Getting By, and I called Jeff, I think probably about a week later, and I said, Jeff, you know, I was listening to the demo of Barely Getting By, and isn't it kind of ironic that this song is kind of, you know, the times that we're going through right now? Because right away they came out and said, okay, there's people that won't be able to work, because they came out really fast, as you know, right? A couple days, and all of a sudden it just hit the world, and everybody's talking about it. So I'm preparing to hunker down. and here's this song about basically like, now you're in the trenches, and we're gonna get through this basically, right? And we're barely getting by, but we're gonna get through this. So that was kind of the premises of it. And but I got to give a shout out to the Hillside guys because they were a part of this along with Jeff Johnson and I, and did just a special song.
You know it, my friend. It really, really is. Now, I got to be honest with you. I didn't hear it until this morning. Production. I don't know whether they've been scouting this one away from me or not. I don't really know because sometimes I am guilty of playing songs. Well, I test them out for radio just to make sure that they're capable of being played. And, sometimes I get it in the neck or in the ear, either from the management and or from production. So this morning when I got into work, Brookie says to me, hey Grant, come in here, check this out. Have a listen to this. This is brand spanking new Rod Black. And I'm going, oh, thank God. Now, the reason why I said thank God was I knew for the last couple of weeks now that you were coming up for an interview. And I'm always expecting brand spanking new music to come in. But this one really, last minute, it really, really was. I'm excited because I loved it right from the start. I really, really did. And yes, you're quite right. It is a surreal time right now in history, in human history. It really, really is. So I couldn't wait to catch up with you, my friend, and play this to our audio audience all around the world. Check this out. Brand spanking new Rod Black, Barely Getting By, here at Galaxy. How you feeling, Rod?
I'm done. I always love talking with you guys.
Nice. It's always a pleasure back at you too, my
We'll
friend.
put him here one day.
Yeah, we
No,
are.
we got to get you in the camera. What's going on here? I know you're double duty here.
Barbara's got that wandy
I
thing.
know, but then we don't get to see her.
Well,
Oh, I will in a minute.
when
Yeah, okay, good.
you know how close she gets with that thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's a hard hat area.
Nice.
Yeah, do you remember that?
How was the holidays for you guys? I know it was a little tough, obviously, with the COVID thing. How was your holidays?
Well, actually, to be honest with you, I'm still looking forward to my holidays. I worked through the period where all the staff were away having Christmas festives because there needed to be at least one staff member here looking after the equipment.
Of course, yeah.
So I'm going to take a bit of time off in a couple of months if the management allows me, because we're so booked up right now. I've got to be honest.
Yeah. No, that's good.
Yeah, believe me, we're booked up through March at the moment.
Good for you. That's awesome.
So that's incredible.
Beating them.
But always time for Rod. So if you're coming back with a brand new song, we will shuffle you right on in there and get
and
somebody
I'll-
else.
I just really
Sister
appreciate
in.
the support, like I said, that you've shown myself and obviously my Canadian country friends and family and stuff, and then of course American and all around the world. The support that you show for other artists is really appreciated.
Well, Rod, I've got to be honest, we only play the good stuff. Right? We get about 30 to 50 bands a day wanting interviews.
Yeah.
And believe me, not a lot of it is the good stuff. I've got to be honest, there's a big percentage of it. And at the end of the day, our board has to approve it, and they literally only have our image in mind. You know what I mean? So.
No, of course, no, and I respect that.
Yeah, and believe me, anytime they see a Rod Black song come in, it's automatic. It is.
Well, thank you again. It means a lot.
Anyway, let's get back to the desk, my friend. That's right, you're right here at Galaxy 107 FM, absolutely elated and humbled to be joined by what we think is Galaxy legend, Rod Black. Now Rod, it's always a pleasure to have you come here and have a chat to us. and pump up my ego, I got to admit. It's really, really pumped up after you telling me everything you have. So thank you for that. But please, 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 will you come back again?
Oh, guys, it's always my pleasure, of course. My time's always yours.
Brilliant. And one thing you said to me, a number of minutes ago, since, before we last met, was one of your lucky numbers is number 7. That's why you like Galaxy. I remember that very, very clearly. You know something? Our lucky number is 7 as well. It is, and believe me, there's big things happening around the world for Galaxy. Big prospects coming in the future. I'm not going to divulge too much right now, but believe me, there is big things happening, including us being on not only television, but we've been in magazines, we're on podcasts. Everywhere around the world, people are starting to get on board with Galaxy 107 FM, and I've got to thank everybody for the absolute elation of taking us into your homes, into your bedrooms, into your houses, and into your workspaces to play Galaxy. I've got to thank our people who do that. And please, check out Rod Black. You can't go wrong. You really can't. Rod, got to move on, my friend, but don't go anywhere just yet. Thank you so much for joining us here at Galaxy.
Guys.
Always a pleasure. Hang in there, my bro. But in the meantime, here's Alex C. and featuring Yas, here's Du Haas.